Well, mindfulness is a term that is used for a variety of qualities. So it's a bit of a catch-all phrase. Sammasati, or mindfulness which is attuned to reality, that kind of mindfulness is a bringing of attention to the present experience, and that assessing of the nature of that experience in terms of what is beneficial, what is unbeneficial, and that quality can then guide action and speech and attitude in relationship to what is experienced, what is known. There's an appreciation of, in this moment, this is the field of experience of this mind. Here we are sitting in this room, having this interview. This is woven together out of sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, thought, memory, concept, and so forth. It's a mental event. Each of us experiences this moment through the medium of our mind. So mindfulness in its most complete sense is appreciating not just the time, the place, and the situation, but also that this is a mental construct. This particular, I don't experience the world, you don't experience the world. These various cameras don't experience the world. What we experience is our mind's version of the world. The cameras don't have minds, I would say, but those of us here do. So each of us experiences this mind's version of the world. So in its most complete sense, mindfulness includes an appreciation of that subjective bias. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama made this point years and years ago in a dialogue I was in with him. Actually, where he was giving commentaries on the Christian Gospels with Father Lawrence Freeman. The point that His Holiness made was that there is an effect that it comes from the particular point of view, the medium through which each moment is experienced. So mindfulness in its most complete sense includes that appreciation of, I don't experience the world, I experience my mind's version of the world. So along with, say, mindfulness having a natural ethical element, because if there's that consideration of, okay, what's of benefit, what's of harm in this moment, then ethics of sila is a natural part of sammasati, of right mindfulness, or an attuned mindfulness. And along with ethics, there's also a phenomenological appreciation of a sense of this is my mind's version of reality. Therefore, the result of that is compassion, because how could you see the world the same way as I do? We naturally see the world differently. So if that subjective or phenomenological aspect is appreciated, then we make more space for each other. Because of course, Matt's world is going to be different from Amaro's world, and so it would be crazy for me to assume that everything that I think and know or take to be good and true will be exactly the same as Matt or as Alex or whoever. It's a way that we naturally give space to each other to have a different perspective, a different point of view. Ergo, compassion. You're more sympathetic or able to allow for other people's points of view, even if those points of view seem to be completely deranged and harmful. It's unfortunate that this person sees things this way, but for whatever reason, their conditioning has made their mind see things through that particular lens. And so it's a way that we don't just assume, because I call this good or I call this beautiful, that everyone else should see it the same way. Mindfulness is often taught in a very stripped down way, in what I would call a mechanistic form of mindfulness, where it's really an attention training, which is not a bad thing. Paying attention is more useful than being totally distracted. Yes, but it's more of an attention training and learning to focus on the present experience. But it isn't a very broad appreciation. And one of the things that tends to be lacking, and this is a long ongoing debate in the kind of mindfulness world, and I've had conversations particularly with John Kabat-Zinn back and forth about the way that in mindfulness-based stress reduction, which is extremely influential, and also in mindfulness-based cognitive therapy that was founded by Mark Williams, Zindel Siegel, John Teasdale, that the element of sila, or ethics, is deliberately left out, and quite consciously and deliberately so. And I've had some dialogues, particularly with John Kabat-Zinn, on this, and I feel, and I'm not alone, there's quite a large body of folks who feel that if it's really to be called mindfulness and to be used in its fullest way, then the ethical element does need to be part of the picture. And so I think of it in terms of, in a way that just as compassion is being more brought into the picture, that self-compassion and compassion for others, as part of the mindfulness practices that are being promoted, that ethics will could and should become more of a natural part of it. People have backed off from that because, say, in the therapeutic model, it's not the job of the therapist, and the therapist in many countries and domains is explicitly forbidden to make. A therapist can't tell you shouldn't be cheating on your partner, or that that your livelihood is destructive and immoral. The reason why you feel so self-critical is because you use a lot of falsehood in your work. And so if you didn't lie so much in your work, then you would feel better about yourself, as I understand it. And you can edit this out if it's wrong. But a therapist or a psychiatrist is forbidden to make those kind of ethical prompts for people's behaviour. That it's not their role, and they're actually not allowed to make those kind of judgments. So I do feel that's a bit of a weakness, and I don't think it has to be a sort of a moralistic put down, like that you shouldn't do this because I say so as an authority figure, but rather let's look at the cause and effect relationship. If you use a lot of falsehood in your work, then the natural result of falsehood is anxiety, that you're afraid of being found out, afraid of the consequences of the falsehoods being revealed, and so it's not even personal, really. It's more like just a law of nature. This is the cause, this is the effect, this is how it works. You plant this seed, you get that. You plant an apple seed, you get an apple tree. You plant a lemon seed, you get a lemon tree. And so that I feel that's a direction that I personally have been trying to nudge things to the degree that I can, is including ethical considerations within mindfulness trainings, and seeing it as a kind of behaviour therapy, if that's not a inappropriate use of the term, to say that the way we behave, what we say and how we act, it has an effect on our own mental well-being. And it's not as a sort of a moralistic put down, or a kind of a thou shalt commandment from outside, but rather looking at the way our mind works and looking at the way our life works, and that if we are genuinely wanting to find contentment and freedom and ease and happiness, then if we bring attention to what we say and how we say it and what we do and how we do it, and to incline towards what is wholesome and noble and harmless, then there's going to be beneficial results for us and also for the beings that we live with.